Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Alien vs. Predator Galaxy YouTube channel. This is Aaron Percival, aka Corporal Hicks, and joining me are regular partners in crime,
Adam Zeller, aka Ridgetop.
Eric Adams, Xenomorphine.
And welcome back for another motion tracker video in which we're talking about some of the recent news. Now, we're a little late with this one, and I blame fully Mr. Ridgetop.
I'll take the blame for that.
Keeping me waiting hours for him to tell me no.
We're on different time zones. Sometimes it doesn't work out.
Yeah, we agreed both days. And you
at the last minute, things come up. But all right, let's get to it.
But yes, so we're talking about some, however late, some recent news, which is the Marvel's unveiling trailer of issue 1 of their upcoming series. So before we talk into it, we shall have a quick watch. Some very cool resurrection-y kind of vibes there.
Yep, exactly what
in
I
the tanks.
Easily one of the best parts of Resurrection as well.
They have like trailers for comics. Like I haven't seen too much of this before.
They did this for some of the Dark Horse stuff, you know. Maybe not quite as elaborate as this, but
yeah, that's right. I remember now that you mention it. No, it wasn't as elaborate as this.
But I mean, motion comics has been a thing for a while. Halo did quite a few.
Right, and we saw them for Predators as well. But I just mean like a movie-style trailer.
Yeah, for promotional purposes, it's yeah. We'll be seeing more and more of this.
Dun, 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 dun. March, so that is this month.
End of March, yes.
I have mine reserved at the comic shop as well as
hang on.
One Android model for the job.
oh, Bishop.
That's a decent Lance Henriksen likeness. For a moment, I thought that was a photograph of the Sulaco crew, and then I realised, oh, it's a blonde woman on the side. It's a different crew.
So should we also have a quick read through of the announcement before we discuss as well?
Go for it.
Okay. So this one, and all the people that have written the recent reports that we're doing videos on aren't taking part in the videos. So this one came from Mr. AJ Voodoo Magic. While he's slaving away typing this on his phone, Adam and I are arguing the hell out of each other on Facebook chat, blowing his phone up. So let's read the fruits of his labor. And you know this is Voodoo's. You can tell from the style of the writing as well.
Yeah.
So
you've got to do a vocal impression.
Building upon the animation. Sorry, no, never mind. Building upon the anticipation of Marvel's first venture into Alien Comics next month, Marvel Comics has dropped an exciting new trailer and art pages to preview, promoting their new upcoming monthly comic series. Written by Philip Kennedy Johnson and illustrated by artist Salvador LaRocca, in a series promised to explore, quote, never before seen corners of the Alien universe. This teaser provides us with a new glimpse into what awaits fans in this new chapter of comics in the Alien franchise. If that wasn't exciting enough, Marvel Comics has officially teased the return of a very familiar face. Beware of possible spoilers below. So what Voodoo's referring to there is Bishop, who we saw at the end of the trailer. In addition to the trailer, Marvel has released new story information and preview art over at Marvel.com per their press release. This new series will introduce readers to Gabriel Cruz, who years ago almost literally gave his life to Weyland-Yutani when he barely survived an alien attack. Recently retired, Cruz is trying to patch things up with his abandoned son with the help of his friend, a Bishop model android. And his re-entry into civilian life is not going smoothly. And his encounters with the deadly xenomorph are far from over. No one is safe. No one is innocent. And no one can hear you scream. See terrors. Interesting jump there. See the terrors in store in this all-new thrilling trailer featuring never-before-seen artwork from the highly anticipated issue.
Okay, so
let me continue on. And so we have some images that we'll be going through that were part of this press release. Writer Philip Kennedy Johnson also participated in a new interview with Newsarama and had this to say about the upcoming series. Quote, As a lifelong super fan of the franchise, getting to write the launch of Marvel's Alien was one of the biggest thrills of my writing career, Johnson told Newsarama in a recent interview. Alien coming to Marvel feels like the beginning of a new era for the franchise, especially with the announcement of the upcoming TV series, and the gravity of being the first writer of that era is definitely not lost on me. After all the amazing work Marvel has done with the Star Wars franchise, I know the fans want to see greatness come from Alien as well, as they should. We're all giving everything we have to deliver on that, and I'm confident fans will love what they see.
I thought you were going to pass out there.
Oh.
the speed that you were going through, then I was like, Jesus Christ. I wanted to say take a breath, but you were taking plenty of. So it was like...
So a tease at the end of the trailer, we have this, some people have called like Giger Lee inspired humanoid alien figure.
I maintain it's Marathi, but
I think you're talking rubbish. Yeah.
There are some definite influences of
Horns. Horns, is it, Eric?
No, it's
like
you got the same number of horns, the same proportions, plus it's the faceplate that goes around there.
But then what about the rest of all this very obviously Giga?
The rest,
we'll get to this in a second, but to finish
the
what
rest
we wrote
is still Lee, but the headgear.
Oops. Oh, hang on.
Switch back.
Have that back in.
What other surprises does Marvel Comics have in store for Alien fans? Find out when Alien #1 hits comic shelves everywhere on the 24th of March. And be sure to keep your motion tracker pointed towards us, AVP Galaxy. So yeah, I have mine reserved at my local comic shop. I'm also getting one of the cool boxes. I know you are too.
Oh yeah, I think I'm buying like all of them. Yeah, the distributors, the comic shops have to get them in packs of like 4 or something, and so he can't get me one in. And I'm like, okay, if I have to, I'll buy all 4 of them. But can you ask the other guys if there's other people in there as well that want to be? Yeah, I really wanted the artwork because the box because I really like. I can never remember his name, Lee, the cover artist, the regular cover artist. I really like his renditions. So
these might also be considered possible future collector's items because these will be the first Marvel Alien comics as well. So there's that novelty value.
So the variant covers especially will be sought after, I would imagine. I really do like that panel there. I mean, it does kind of feel like a wasted full panel, how it just kind of fades into out. But as far as like the artwork in the center, I do like that whole like alien inside, like it's kind of freaky. I mean, it reminds me of, this is going to be a weird reference here, but do you remember like the 20th Century Fox store that you could buy merch from online around the time of Covenant? So they had a mug that had a xenomorph on it and it said alien inside.
Oh, the one with the chest burster inside the cup.
No, this one, it was just like the outline of the full-grown alien from Covenant, and then it had in red lettering alien inside. I'll have to show it to you later. But
what else we got? So we saw this bit in the trailer. This is, of course, the
2200, so around not too far from the new game.
Yeah. 2 years before, I think. So interesting that they are sticking around the same timeline. You know, it's a nice jump after Alien 3, but it's not the 200 years of resurrection. So, Bishop, yeah, I think...
It was pretty good.
He did a decent job there. And I guess that guy next to him's Cruz, actually, the one in the top. No, what else we got? So, we've already seen these. These panels were... previewed pretty early on and was the result of some mocking for the facial expressions. I find this bit funny. We have a crotch hugger up here. Oh, did we lose Eric there? Did we lose you, Eric?
Yes, as soon as Adam started talking, my internet connection completely vanished. So I don't know what's been said at all.
We're just having a look at this. I was just taking the mic out of the crotch hugger, and this is the this is the full panel that we've seen, full page that we've seen. My apologies.
We see that this alien has hoofs.
I don't know that is the alien. I have a suspicion that's that humanoid figure with the horns.
Maybe. Or it could be a DNA.
Because that looked like the same environment.
Philip Kennedy's done a few interviews, And we haven't had him on the show yet because I hate doing pre-release interviews, but we'll have him on the show after the issue 1's come out.
Yeah, I know Perfect Organism did an interview with him. I've been meaning to listen to. So
basically, everyone he's done so far, while he can't go into details, he does sound like a really good bloke. It sounds like he really gets it. And one of the things he did talk about was playing up the DNA reflex. So I think it's quite likely this is going to be some sort of bull alien hybrid kind of thing. But yeah, these were the expressions that people have been taking the pee out of because LaRocco,
Salvador LaRocca, I think.
Yeah, he's a controversial figure as well when it comes to the arts.
Not quite as controversial as Land, I hope.
No. And this is the ship we saw in the trailer. Some bored people, as would be expected from aliens.
It's Evil Jones because it's in black.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not nice.
It's not evil. Black kitties are nice. But it's a new space cat, which is nice.
Okay, look at how cute that is.
Yeah, but notice, look, it's wearing a little collar with the number 13 on it.
It is.
It's an evil space kid.
I don't like this. Kitties are nice. And that is all of them in terms of the preview art. So, and in the trailer, of course, I think the big thing was seeing the Hammerpede for a brief second.
Yes.
Lots of what appears to be heavily referenced aliens, however nicely rendered. I think there's the Hot Toys one's been spotted in there.
That's one of the covers, I think.
No, I mean the one that was used. Oh, you can't see it here. But the one that was used, AJ used for the cover of this one.
Right. I think that's supposed to be one of the covers. I don't know if that's one of the panel arts, is it?
It was in the trailer.
Right, but they had some of the covers in the trailer.
Okay. And of course, she's the big thing. This creature is what I think most of the discussion's been around because it implies a lot of.
See, it's that same background in blue.
Yeah, well, it's definitely the same location as all the other aliens, so she is in there with them.
Yeah, I think that's what the feet are from.
I don't think so. I think that's going to be a bull alien. But I'm really fucking interested in her because I know Eric thinks it's a Warcrafty thing, but I think she is very obviously inspired by Lee and Syl.
Yeah,
I think the body is. It's just that headgear. That's all. And also, I think she is going to result from you see those Ripley 8 hybrid things in test, and there's at least 2 variations in there. I noticed.
So maybe not Black Goo. Maybe it could be a genetic experiment thing because you know there were some very interesting Ripley hybrids. Of course,
one of them even has the eyeless. Face with the I noticed.
I really hadn't considered that being a cloning. My mind had gone straight to the Black Goo.
I get the StarCraft comparison though. You have the human character like Sarah Kerrigan joins the the Zerg.
Well, that was always very heavily based on Aliens and Predator anyway.
Yeah, I also find it. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think what would be interesting if she is from those genetic experiments, I think it would be very nice if they were to sort of acknowledge alien resurrection, because they're always acknowledging the first 2 films, sometimes a third. But if they acknowledge it, those hybrids...
This will be before it.
Yeah, but it would be interesting if they had those hybrids and it was clarified that that was like a precursor to what eventually will become the experiments that the United Systems military does down the road about a century later or whatever to get Ripley. It might be that this is like a much more primitive attempt to get Ripley or to separate that.
I mean, that's always been the deal with Resurrection, right? The USM must be really bad at tracking down aliens with all the expanded media post Alien and Aliens and Alien 3.
This could actually fix a continuity flaw because if that is how they get these aliens, then it would take account of that General Perez quote where it says there's never been an encounter with, the original aliens since Ripley committed suicide. If these aliens are a cloning experiment result.
Well, so are the ones in Resurrection. They didn't encounter aliens in that one too.
No, exactly. But what I'm saying is that could fix that continuity thing if that's what they...
I don't think that's the route they'll go.
No, I don't think. I'm just saying it would be nice if they went that.
They're just not letting Resurrection restrict them.
No, Resurrection's out now. I think
it's interesting the talk of PTSD from the military, and beyond that, the difficulty readjusting to civilian life. I really liked. I don't know if you guys ever saw this movie called The Hurt Locker. That was a big theme of that movie, was difficulty readjusting into civilian life, and so I wonder how much they'll actually go into that. They did mention like this focuses on a squad of Weyland-Yutani mercenaries, which I don't think that's the squad we saw in the trailer. I think that was like from his Marine days, and maybe now he's a Weyland-Yutani mercenary.
Yeah, it might be.
So
you don't know what's flashback or not,
because if they're Weyland-Yutani mercenaries, they shouldn't look like Colonial Marines. Yeah.
I get vibes to No Exit, where they have this corporate alien detective who they wake up to investigate what they would suspect to be alien infestations and stuff. And this Cruz character gives me vibes to the guy from that one, which was Cram, I think it was.
I thought you were going to say that's what that horned lady was. She's like the alien police.
No, but I think out of all of this, she is the thing I'm really excited to see. Because regardless
of whether... she's just featured for like a couple of frames in this, she's the thing everyone's talking about.
Because I think it's one of those things that, I mean, I've seen some people saying this still doesn't belong in Aliens. But to me,
the aesthetic,
that kind of thing does. Because not just because, I guess a large part of it is because it is a Giga creature, but I think the accelerant gives it a way to do something different with the aliens, but still retain a lot of the alien nature. That was kind of one of the things I missed from Space's script, because it went more obviously with like the five-field creature was more obviously transforming into an alien rather than the crap effect that we got on Prometheus.
When I watched the behind-the-scenes stuff on Prometheus, they talked about Fifield, his head was going to explode, and that's why on the engineer's head, when they were looking at it, that's why its head, it wasn't going to have him turn into an alien.
Before that, when we're in the space era, was when he was obviously
different iteration,
and I missed that. So I actually quite like to see this, and if it is going down the route of it being the accelerant, I'm quite happy with it. And because that's something I thought would suit. And I know Adam's over there crying because he doesn't want his prequels.
You know me, I'm not a Prometheus fan, and
I'm not a Prometheus fan.
The black
like
goo
the
concept cheapens Alien personally, and I like stuff distancing itself from that. I don't like it being brought back. It felt like they got so wild with it in Fire and Stone and Life and Death, and there are things I like about those comics. But I do think the black goo is just too much of a this can do anything. Like
it goes to Resident Evil. But,
exactly, and I love Resident Evil, but save that for Resident Evil. Like I've never saw the alien as a virus, and I think this kind of makes it up to that too much.
Yeah,
well, it's not an alien. That's the thing, though.
I would say there's nothing to suggest the black ooze is in this, except that we see a hammerpede.
Yeah, and the hammerpede is with the aliens, and you wonder how she became a hybrid, and if they're going to go the black goo route. I mean, we have seen some of it in the RPG too. Thankfully, not too much, but but again, I know people like the prequels, so that's my personal feelings, and that shouldn't, I'm gonna try and not judge the story based on my personal feelings in terms of like fan nitpicks like that. But I don't know on the writing, because that was a pretty big thing in Prometheus that has impacted the lore. Regardless, I just hope it doesn't, play into things too much.
Whereas I quite welcome it. As somebody who was frustrated the hell out of Prometheus, I think it offered a lot of potential story possibilities that I'm disappointed we haven't seen explored potentially until now. So
I think there's room for growth and gestation, no pun intended, with the subject matter that was in Prometheus and Covenant. It's just that it wasn't executed in the way as I would have preferred it doing. I think in capable hands, you could use things like the Black Ooze in some very interesting. But as we have found through playing the Alien RPG, there's a lot of things in there. It's a cookbook. You take ingredients and you see how they're applied in a master story crafter's hands. That stuff can go in some very interesting dimensions and open up the world. But if it's written poorly, it all depends on what the quality of writing in it is. I mean, I know, Aaron, you were saying when this first came out about, oh, look, the Bugmen have come back from the Colonial Marines story. Maybe it's to do with the Royal Jelly thing again. We don't know at this point. But I've got nothing against certain ingredients coming back so long as the writing is there. And that's what we have no clue of at the moment. Even the PTSD thing, you could say that could be there's a danger it could be a carbon copy of what happened with Zula Hendrix, but let's hope it's not.
I mean, like I said, from all the interviews I've actually listened to with Philip Kennedy, I'm pretty confident in him. I am very confident in him. He just sounds like he gets it, and he loves the series. Yeah. And I'm quite looking forward to seeing that. The thing that's up in the air is, and I'm sure Adam can talk about this now, is LaRocca's artwork.
Yeah, so I have nothing against LaRocca. I'm not really familiar with his work, and so I'm gonna try and look at the art objectively as I read the story and see how it goes. But it's been no secret among fandom that we've had some issues already with the art among Marvel beyond just this. I mean, we've had a number of covers and even alternate covers for this that are pretty much swiped. Like they are images from let's see, the big egregious one was the omnibus, which was taken from Tristan's artwork, but even in this there's the Hot Toys alien in one of them, but that's not to put down all the variant covers. I mean, some of the variants are really good, but it's just so frustrating when you see, and I remember the first time I saw it was Aliens Fire and Stone, where all the aliens were heavily referenced NECA figures, and you could tell based on their poses, like their joints looked like figure joints.
Don't forget the ACM screenshot as well from that.
Oh, yes.
Which one?
On like the first issue of Aliens, there was a Fire and Stone. There was a screenshot from ACM in it.
Oh, I don't remember that.
You pointed that out to me.
Oh, it's been so long since I've read that one. I'll have to go back. But yeah, so this has happened under Dark Horse too. Aaron, if you want to pull up,
it's not new
that I sent you. This was a comparison I found in one of the last comics Dark Horse did, which was Aliens Rescue.
These weren't rescues. These were threats.
No, these were rescues. It was this was rescues.
It wasn't.
It was. I swear. Look it up right now if you don't believe me.
You can continue talking. I will.
So and I believe the center one was a fan art CG render, and it was obviously swiped. And we have a promotional image from Aliens that was swiped again for one of the covers, and a promotional image from a Sideshow collectible that was swiped again for one of the covers.
And this is all in the Dark Horse era, not Marvel.
You were right.
Did not, I know. And Dark Horse did not do it too much. But they did do it. So it's not like a completely new thing under Marvel. And I didn't realize this was such an issue in comics until just recently. And I actually looked it up and I was like, has the art quality in comics overall gone down? And apparently there's been, at least with the big comic producers, there's been much more of a focus on who's writing a comic as opposed to who the artist is. And I think that's a big mistake. I feel like the art is just as important as the writing. And, I'm going to go through this with an open mind on both the story and the artwork. It does seem like less safe than I would have imagined, which is kind of a good thing in terms of the story. Like, I figured they were going to go with a very basic feeling alien story that looks like we might be getting something different, which is a good thing. Mm-hmm. But as far as the art, I mean, we still have these, and we saw this a bit in Land's art too. Like the human characters have these very like crazy expressions that are just like overdone. It seems. And the aliens, the big pile of aliens, are very recognizable as heavily referenced NECA figures. And even the Hammerpeed looked like it was like heavily referenced. And I have no problem. Like I'm an art student. I used to do illustration and painting. I know art is hard, which is why I switched to photography, which is art as well. But drawing and painting were harder for me. Regardless, I know reference is used when making illustrations and art, and that's totally fine. It's a tool in the artist book. The key is actually using it as reference and not copying it, because you still have to put your own spin on it. Like if I wanted to look at those images of aliens, I would just look at those images of aliens. Like the cool thing about a lot of these older comics is they have their own unique depictions of aliens that obviously have influences and inspiration or were probably referenced, but they're still recognizable as like, oh yeah, this is from this artist,
Well, take Doug in Thicker Than Blood. Some of that, it was recognizably influenced by Stompy, but it didn't look like he'd copied a screenshot.
Nothing looked like, and it would have been so easy to just take a picture of Stompy and draw over it and make it look like all these different but he didn't do that. It was something referenced from Stompy, but in unique poses that were completely their own for that artist.
Yeah, it's inspiration as opposed to direct copy.
Yeah, and even in one of our favorite comics, Aaron, like The Destroying Angels, it's really interesting because the aliens kind of remind me of a more Giger-esque ADI design in that one.
Yeah, it was very, very obviously resurrections.
Obviously referenced, but the artists still did their own unique thing with it. They didn't just copy it. And I'm seeing a lot of copying, more than I ever realized was in the comic industry these days.
Apparently, it's very prevalent with Marvel's sort of tie-ins. So, Star Wars is apparently pretty guilty of it.
I noticed in the Jedi Fallen Order comic, there were a couple panels where they had the Prometheus vehicle, like just straight up the vehicle from Prometheus, like the rover was just there. And I was like, whoa, really? Like you guys have so many vehicles in the Star Wars universe and you couldn't throw something else together?
Yeah.
So
yes, they own the copyright.
I don't know if it's just Marvel has some crazy deadlines and artists just have to crank out this stuff so fast that they just resort to what they have to resort to, but it just feels lazy and I don't want to see it. Again, I'm still going to go into this art and judge it with an open mind, but based on the preview panels, and we're not the only ones that feel this way, Aaron, like we look at the forums, the art is not up to the level as we've seen with some of the Dark Horse comics, but some of the Dark Horse comics didn't have good art either. So, of course, art is subjective. This is our opinion. At least this is my opinion. I think you guys probably agree with me, right? In terms of the art having some issues. But yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Okay. Anything else to say on this?
Aaron, like, am I the only one thinking this way, or are you guys on the same page with me?
No, I agree.
I'd rather see original renditions. I mean, from talking from a technical level, it does look maybe not photorealistic. It does look very well rendered, but if it's because it's so heavily traced or referenced on something in front of him, I'm not surprised. But I would rather see cool and original moments and depictions of the alien. I want stuff like Tristan Jones's alien coming through that doorway after the Clone and Marines have tried to blow everything up. I want to see that kind of cool original stuff, not just a photo,
something you can't get anywhere else that's already
imposed on what could be a screenshot from Isolation. I don't want to see that. I want to see original stuff that's rendered well, not just rendered well things. But like I said, I am quite confident in the writing. I'm very looking forward to seeing what happens with the narrative here. And I'm looking forward to talking to Philip Kennedy at some point.
Yeah, likewise.
Anything else to add, Eric?
No. I think we've pretty much... We can only make so many judgment calls with what's in the trailer.
It won't be long before we're reading the actual comic. So
it's always funny. Do you remember when we did a 3-hour podcast on a 3-minute trailer?
Yes.
We're getting half-hour discussion on a minute and a bit trailer.
That was 3 hours of footage. This is just like a series of shots.
3 minutes of footage, yeah. But...
It had some nice music. It had Adam doing a nice rendition of that music.
Wait, I mean, which one? Oh,
for the trailer, yeah.
Okay. You noticed that.
It had I mean, all I can say is that at least the people putting the trailer together seem to have a good, a decent grasp of creating an alien atmosphere.
It was a good trailer for sure, and
how that's going to come across in the actual comic form, well,
we'll see.
We can only wait and see. Yeah, we can't say this is fantastic or this is absolute balderdash.
It's just talking about the things that are in there.
Yeah, it's looking decent so far. It would be nice to be more original, but there's a lot of unknown variable, even like the two-faced hacker just calling on a body when they should be jumping on the two victims. For all we know, that entire, we could be talking about, with this lady with the horns, what's going to happen? That entire thing could just be from like a one-scene dream, for all we know, like Newt had in book 2. Is she going to be even a character? We don't know. All we can say is visually it's striking an interesting, nice tone, and looking forward to exploring it.
Okay.
Agreed.
As always, guys and girls watching this, let us know how you're feeling on the stuff down below. Are you planning on picking it up, or has the controversy put you off? I'm a evil person, so I'll be picking it up just to see what's happening. I'm very much looking forward to what Philip's got in store. If you're interested in checking out the hub of our activity, you can find it on avpgalaxy.net. We're also on all the social media outlets, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and of course YouTube. If this is your first time watching anything we're doing on YouTube, please head back to the main page and check out some of our other content. This has been Corporal Hicks,
Rich Top,
Xenomorphing,
and thank you for watching.